Hello and welcome to the Away Day Experience show here on Back of the Net. Look, we're an AFC Bournemouth fan channel. We're a diddy little channel, but we appreciate your support. So if you're a fan of another club, especially Nottingham Forest, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel because of course we're going to be playing each other again and we're going to give a raw and hopefully unbiased view of when we next play you. But also in this series, it's all about the experience. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And it is about the experience. Look, we beat Forest at the weekend. It was 3-2, but nothing about the football. We're not going to talk about that. It's irrelevant.
I've got it out of my head, mate. No, but yeah, it's we'll leave that bias at the door. Nothing to do with what happened on the pitch. We'll go through different categories and just, talk about our away day experiences as a whole, really. And that's our third one in the league season so far. So it's starting to shape up now, that tier list, mate. See how we go. And obviously we had Forest last season. So what I've made sure I've done is I've not looked, I cannot remember what I did from last season. Obviously we've changed the tiers a little bit since then, but I want to go into it fresh because it's not fair because they're only one of the few teams we can compare to.
Do you want a quick peek at the tier list so far? Do you?
Go on.
Here we go. Here's the tier list so far then. Look, so from your perspective, Tom, I want you to tell me the categories and what they all mean.
Okay, so right at the bottom, which I'm hoping we won't go anywhere near, what a waste of petrol.
Yeah.
Petrol prices are not great. I mean, they're getting a bit better. But yeah, we don't want to, waste of petrol. Really wish I didn't go. Right at the bottom of the tier. Says exactly what it says on the tin there. Above that, not the best. So probably expected a better away day experience in general. And it was a little bit below that. And then we got Can't Complain, which you can see. There's a team in there, Man City at the moment. So relatively happy with it, but could have been a little bit better, potentially. And if you go and watch that video, you'll see why. Above that, decent day. So exactly what you want for an away day. Really good, really happy, no real complaints. And right at the top, mate, which I'm hoping we'll get a few in, banging visit. Literally above all expectations. What a day. Everything was tick, tick, tick. And that will be right at the top. And hopefully we'll get a few in there.
Hopefully we will. Look, we may have given you a clue by mentioning the club as to what team we're doing this week. But it is, Tom, Nottingham Forest.
It is indeed.
A visit to the City ground. And like you say, we did do this last season, but we haven't taken that into account at all. And we have rejigged the categories that we're talking about, Tom. What are they?
The categories that we go into, we start off pre-match experience.
Okay, right.
So everything we do before the game, parking,
getting there.
Getting there. If you go into a pub, a coffee shop, whatever you do before the game. Yeah. Obviously, this is for us. Our pre-match experience before a ball's kicked. Then we go into the concourse and the refreshments. So what's that like? What's it like underneath, if you like? Kind of more half-time, I guess, but before the game, after the game if you want, and kind of the space of the concourse, what are the food like, what's the drink like? We go into all that stuff. Then we do the stadium and the view in general. Yeah, so nice. When you get in there, what's the stadium like? What's the shape of it? How does it bring it together? What's the view? Sometimes you get a block view. Do you get a good view? And obviously this is all off our personal experience on the day. And then with the view, with the stadium, you go into a different category. What's the atmosphere like? What's it actually like within the stadium in terms of an atmosphere? And this is for the home fans, nothing to do with us, because we like to think you'd be pretty similar the whole way. So what are the home fan loudness like? What's it like? Is there a good bit of banter going on? And then finally, the people themselves, because we thought, like, we didn't have this category last year, but we talked to a lot of fans, and it's nice to kind of think, what were the fans like? What was the interaction like with the fans? The banter, the chat about football, and what they're like as a whole. So we go into the people.
And the people, at all clubs, we find people on Twitter are not the same as in real life. I mean, we've seen that. We've seen people with these big personalities online. Look at them in a bar, they look away whilst they're standing next to their dad. It's really weird. But we'll talk about that later on. Look, pre-match experience. Going up to Nottingham, about 3 hours, 10 minutes in a car if you're not stopping. It's actually one of our ones that seems actually more local, which is weird considering it's like all the way up there. But you know what? It's a good trip. The roads when we travelled were pretty good, and there's plenty of places to park, whether it's official club parking or just parking spaces. We did a just park, but you parked at a place that was easy to find as well, wasn't it?
I think we done it just for the video, mate. When one of us went just park, and then I had a little look and thought, I'll just see what else there is. And there was loads of options, to be fair. We done the County Hall car park, which was £5 match day parking. And then a little bit of walk to the pub we were going to, which we'll come on to, but I just looked on Uber and there was loads about for a £5 themselves, so I was like, happy days. So yeah, really easy, mate. And as you say, when you've just done Liverpool and City, this feels local, which is mental. But yeah, no, quite an easy trip. Yeah, no real complaints. And then we went to the Canal House.
Yes, we did. And look, walking around Nottingham and the city centre, some people went right into the city centre, and it's actually a really gorgeous city. Actually, the architecture's really nice, and the old Market Square is lovely as well. And there's a thing in Nottingham, meet you by the left lion. Didn't have a clue what that's all about, but they got a couple of lions either side, and most people say, "I'll meet you by the left one." And it's a thing.
I like that.
The whole place. I do really like it. It's got a real friendly vibe. And look, walking through the streets, went to Canal House, as you said, which is a pub next to a canal. We should have got a barge, mate. We should have got a barge.
Yeah, we could have actually.
Never mind.
But I do like it.
It's a real nice place.
Like
It's a unique pub. In that it's got a canal going through it, and there's an actual barge in the pub, but you go over a little ramp to sort of go into the main bar bit, and it's got a massive outdoor area which is partially covered. Home and away fans mixing. Steve Hensman keeps on saying, you keep on saying this, what about where do Neighbours fans go? Because I said home and away fans. Yeah. Steve, I've got your joking for you, mate. And you're okay with that. But yeah, really nice vibe in that.
It's really nice. And I think last season we went to, before I've been to Old Jerusalem, is it called? Yeah. And there's Hooters, obviously.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Hooters. I don't, it's not for me, but some people like Hooters.
You've got a t-shirt, have you?
But then you got Canal House, so it shows there's options. But I think with the weather being good as well, Canal House is really good because it's relatively spacious inside, but you've got a lot of big outside area with tables and, as you said, a bit of cover if needed.
Tell you what, the food looked unbelievable at the Canal House, and it was actually relatively good. Lucy, who we go with, had a really nice jacket potato, but Kieran had an amazing loaded hot dog thing. It looked incredible, and yeah, the food looked good, mate. It
did, to be fair. And I thought it was out quite quickly as well, considering other people. So credit to the staff there.
And also, loads of bar staff on. We arrived at about 12:15, and they were prepared. They had almost too many to start off with, but that carried on throughout the afternoon as well. So yeah, fair play to you, Canal.
So I've liked this season actually. I think the 3 games would be. It's always, you do find sometimes you think, do these places not know there's a game on? Like, where's all the stuff? And yeah, so credit to Canal House, and I think it was similar at Liverpool in the last game, wasn't it, where you get a lot of staff on in these places, which is really good. So to be honest, mate, yeah, you got to go high, ain't you, for pre-match experience? Everything was really good.
What's it to be?
Parking, comfort, everything was good. I'm going to go for, I was bordering on a 9, but I'll go 8. Let's calm down. But 8's a great score.
Okay, Concourse and Refreshments then. The Concourse, one thing that was good at half-time, we worried in the Premier League that we might not be able to go outside, but we did, which meant that there was so much space, you can get a bit of fresh air, you can go outside, but the Concourse itself was actually all right, wasn't it? Yeah,
Concourse really good, to be fair. Really nice space and stuff, and you could go outside, like I say, and that always helps because it just gives you a bit more space. No complaints really. It's quite. I've been there a few times, and Concourse always been pretty decent. Refreshments, stuff like that. Did you eat? I didn't eat actually.
No, but I've spoken to those who did. You said it was fairly standard.
Yeah,
fairly okay.
It looked kind of standard, but it was. It's probably similar everywhere, but prices are a bit. I got 2 bottles of. Was it Carlin? 2 bottles of Carlin, Teller.
Ooh.
Outrageous. Mark Jackson. I got Mark Jackson a beer in, didn't I? He owes me. I'll tell you.
You owe him one.
But no, it was.
Jacko.
But yeah, I would say standard. Would you say? I'd say that's the word to describe the Concourse. Obviously, pretty standard. But I do like they let you out.
Yeah.
I think that's good because it just gives you so much more space. So yeah, no real complaints, but nothing spectacular. So that makes it sound like above average. I'm going to go 6.
Yeah, fair. Okay, I agree with that. Stadium of the View then. I love an old school stadium, I do, and it is one that's being redeveloped as well. So the older stand on the left-hand side, as we look at it from where we were in the away end, that's going to be completely changed. There are videos online that do like CGI kind of reconstructions of how it's going to go, and it's a stadium that's kind of laced with European glory. It's got a lot of prestige, it's heritage, it's one of your archetypal old school grounds, and I quite like it really. And with that, the view's actually quite good as well. Sometimes they're a bit antiquated, but I found it quite good. We're in the sort of lower Bridgeford stand. It was good.
Yeah, I am a fan of the stadium itself.
And what's quite nice, sorry to interrupt, it's sort of, you're behind the goal, but if you want to, you can like slightly go around the corner to be on the side of the pitch, so you get best of both worlds if you want it.
Yeah, good bit of variety there, and as you say, but yeah, it's just got a really good blend. I like the old school feel to it, but it is a nice stadium. And I think if you want to, you can get an atmosphere going in there, which we'll come on to obviously. But yeah, I really enjoy it there. I'm trying to forget about the fact that I've had a few limbs there the last few times I've been there. But I've no real complaints. There's better, but there's worse as well. I quite like it. So I'm going to go in between what I've done on the other two ratings. I'm going to go for a good solid 7.
Yeah, good solid 7. Okay, brilliant. In terms of the atmosphere then, mate, I mean, I've mentioned the stadium, it's compact, which is quite nice, and acoustically, it would lend itself to a fan base that are quite loud, and when they certainly introduce the teams and they're singing Mull of Kintyre, it's very loud at the start. I've seen YouTube videos where it's incredibly loud as well, and you're kind of hoping that carries on throughout the game. It didn't prove to be the case.
No.
And even, going 1-0 up, 2-0 up wasn't really the case either.
No, I expected a bit better. I expected a bit more from them. I think this is one that I always counteract if the first show you're watching, is that we leave the bias at the door and we don't talk about it on the pitch. But unfortunately, with the atmosphere, it's going to play a little bit of a part. And they or you, if you're a Forest fan, squandered a 2-goal lead. Yeah. So what I'm trying to put into question is, but at 2-0, was it rocking? I didn't feel like it was rocking. But having said that, was that they think they're going into the game going, well, it's Bournemouth at home, like, it should be comfortable. Maybe. But it was okay. I think we were brilliant on the day, by the way. It looked like it was me and you then. We were good. But I thought away fans were brilliant. But yeah,
they commented about us as well by saying that.
They have. Well, yeah, no, fair play to them. And we'll come on to the people. But yeah, a lot of credit for our away support. Comparing them to other Premier League teams they've had this season, said we're the best. But it was okay. But no better than okay. It wasn't horrific, but I expected a bit more from Forest fans in terms of atmosphere, to be honest.
Do you think it almost had when they're 2-0 up, they're almost like sat back in their seats thinking, you know what, the team is just going to produce now?
Yeah, a little bit. It did feel a little bit like that. It's a frustrating one because it feels like when they can get going, as you said, it could be really loud and a real cauldron, and I just don't think it quite happened. But there's been a lot worse. I feel like the thing is, I think, yes, there'll be better atmospheres, definitely. But I think there'll definitely be worse. So I'm not going to be too harsh. I might go in the middle, because I feel like this might be it's difficult to compare at the moment, and this is why you want to watch, because potentially we'll rejig this at the end of the season, because it's harsher, because you get to compare more. But I feel like this is just me predicting that when we compare, we go, actually, Forest pretty average. So I'm going to go 5.
5. Okay, Tom says 5. And finally, the people, look, what you see on social media is not necessarily what you meet in the pub. And I met a couple of fans in the pub who are absolutely sound, and then Scott on the way to the game as well. It was nice to chat to him, and he was a great guy actually. Talk, and he was very level-headed, not like your Twitter types who are, very bullshit and put on a bit of front. But you know what? They're appreciative of the situation they're in. They're appreciative of the owner that's pumping a lot of money into the club, obviously, as well. And the people seem to be really nice, actually. Yeah,
I agree, mate. I think if you watch this and you're not a Forest or a Bournemouth fan, you think, well, what's this kind of like this thing on like social media and what's going on? Basically, we obviously were both competing to go up, but also they've taken a few players off us. But we also had a bit of a storm that then the game got suspended, postponed, and then we played them when we had a few players back and got promoted. So there's a little bit of a spat there. But as you say, mate, it's completely different when you meet them in person. Lovely. No complaints whatsoever. Even in the stadium, there was obviously at 2-0, they're giving you a bit of stick, which, I'd do it. You got to do it. It's all part of it. Give us some stick. You're 2-0 up. And there was a guy I remember who was getting a bit of grief, and he was proper giving it. And when it was 2-2, 3-2, he was sat there when it was 2-2, 3-2 again, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? That's what you got to do, isn't it? And you got to have a bit of good banter. I love it. That's what it's all about when you're in the stadium.
And as we saw from the show that we did on Tuesday on the second look, we played a clip from Max Day with Max's channel, and Dave was very complimentary, wasn't he?
And all I've seen since, mate, and every Forest fan, this is just, you might have seen different, but all I've seen is them go, we threw it away, they were the better team, they deserved to win, their fans were brilliant. So, they've been really, really respectful in that sense. And I think, like you say, there's always going to be that little bit of Twitter spat. Like, it's all part of the game. You've got to have it, ain't you? It'd be weird if we both liked each other when we've both been competing, and we should be competing this season. So, no complaints, mate. I really enjoyed it. And like you said, when it's a mixed pub, and you don't really notice it's a mixed pub, that shows that everyone's just getting on. And a few times you go in there and you go, oh, what do you think today? And it was just all cool. So, good, solid 8.
8. There we go. Okay, with this in mind, I'm going to do something now that's going to be unbelievable. Okay, that. Jesus. Unbelievable, yeah. There's the tier list, right. Where will Forest go on this tier? I think I know where you're going to put it.
Yeah, I thought, when we've done the other two teams, I've kind of gone into this bit and go, I could do that. I'm pretty sure what I can do. I'm quite happy. I want to see if you get it right. Tell me where it's going. If you get this wrong, you're like an idiot. Go on.
It's top 2, but I think it's going to be a decent day. Yeah.
Correct. Decent day for me. I think if you look at how we've gone through the categories, everything was, as I mentioned at the start of the video when we go through them tiers, everything was good, really good, no real complaints, what I expected. But I'll tell you what, you've got to be bloody special to get Bang and Visit. It's not quite made it. Maybe just little bits and bobs. Like I say, I expect Bang and Visit to be few and far between because there you've got to be special. But yeah, it's got to be a decent day, mate. No complaints. I've always liked Forest.
Yeah. Forest fans, I hope you're okay with that. Let us know what other pubs we could be going to or what other things we could be seeing around the city. We'd love to know because next time we play you, hopefully with us both surviving in the Premier League, then maybe we'll do what you recommend in the comments. Look, Tom, it's been a pleasure.
It has, mate. And how many times, I'll tell you what, if you haven't subscribed already, how many times at the moment, you're all getting bored with City. Yeah, they're just smashing everything. How many times have you looked at a tier list? City are bottom. Right? I mean, what more do you want? I mean, they're just ripping it up. At the moment, they're 3rd out of 3. Yeah. So that's not enough to subscribe. But no, enjoyed it, mate. And what's the next away? Well,
Newcastle.
That was good. That was quite good for you. Newcastle away. I'm looking forward to that one, mate. Another big one. So yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
All I know, like, if I want to put on a Geordie accent, it's you say emotional roller coaster in a Geordie accent. Emotional roller coaster.
Or emotional roller coaster. What was the other one? There was another one. Emotional. I don't want to say it. Poopa scoopa. I've said that. There you go. Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, God.
Until
why
the
have you
next
not
one.
subscribed?
Why have you not? Up the cherries.
Up chairs.
Emotional roller coaster.
What's the other one? There's another one. Poopa scoopa. Kawasaki.
Yeah,
Jimmy Carr does it.